This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social. Delighted to be joined, as always, by Frank Warren. We're here down at the Lamex Stadium in Stevenage. Frank, you got a Stevenage scarf wrapped around. I thought you was an Arsenal fan.
They're my second team, and I'm local to them, so they're my second team.
Nothing to do with the fact that you've got a show here in a couple of weeks' time?
They're genuinely my second team. I live 10 minutes away, so they're my second team.
So we're down here today at the Tyson Fury and Billy Joe Saunders workout ahead of your event on the 18th of May. Weather aside, quite a good day here today, quite a good turnout.
Well, yeah, it's good. I mean, you know, once Tyson was here in the main event, Billy Joe Saunders, it was nice and sunny, and as they say, the sun shines down on the righteous.
Now, news that we got confirmed today was Billy Joe Saunders is now indeed going to be fighting for the full version of the WBO title after Gilberto Ramirez vacated. Must be good.
It's great news. It's a bit of a pain in the backside that, you know, that was what it was always a position from the start. But anyway, it's done now. And as you say, Bill's fighting for the full title, so hopefully he comes through. If he puts in a good performance and settles down at super middleweight, then there are some great fights to be made there, providing he wins and providing people want to fight him.
When something like that happens, I mean, it's something that's probably expected. I think it's a fair word to say. I think people kind of expecting the full title to be on the line in the end. Does that give you and Billy Joe everyone a little bit of an extra boost as you're zeroing in?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. I mean, we always felt that was going to be the case because there's no way Ramirez was ever going to make the weight again. It's just as long and protracted, and at the end of the day caused a certain, well, it was a little bit of uncertainty, but it came through, and as we all know, it's a couple of weeks away, but it is for the full title, and Bill's absolutely over the moon and delighted with that. Chance to become a double weight world champion. And following the footsteps, people like Nigel Benn, Joe Kawasaki.
Now, we saw the rest of the undercard working out today. One person who is going to be on the undercard who wasn't here is the juggernaut, Joe Joyce. Did you need to get that?
No, carry on, mate.
Joe Joyce wasn't here today, but he is going to be on that card on May the 18th, boxing Alexander Ustinov. Just talk to me about that fight.
He's fighting a big Ustinov. You know, he's fought Char for a version of the title, and you know, he's a big man, and it'll be it's a good fight for him. So hopefully he'll come through that and set himself up for a big fight in July, on July the 13th at the O2 in London.
Now, Ustinov, somebody I think it's fair to say he's seen better days in his career. He's still kind of like a gatekeeper type opponent. Is this a keep busy fight for Joe?
No, look, Joe's had 8 fights. That's all he's had, is 8 pro fights. I mean, for this stage of the game, it's a good opponent for him. Of course, he's, you know, I think Ustinov certainly, you know, I'm not saying he's the greatest fighter or as the fighter he was, who knows, but Joe's only had 8 bouts. That's all he's had, 8 professional fights. So it's a good fight for him at this stage of the game, and hopefully he'll come through it and learn from it and get some experience from it.
Now, a lot of talk obviously surrounding Joe Joyce has been with Daniel Dubois previously in the previous year, 18 months. We'll talk about Nathan Gorman. How's that kind of heavyweight trio looking at? I mean, a lot of rumours swirling around. You could see Dubois versus Gorman on that July 13th card.
There is going to be an announcement next week. It was going to be on Wednesday, but it's on Thursday now. And the 3 of them will, providing Joe comes through, the 3 of them will all feature on the same card, and we'll be announcing how it works. But there will be a couple of good title fights on there.
Explain to me, if you can, the situation with the British Boxing Board of Control, because the circular came round like the deal was done, and now it looks like potential. Well, obviously Joe Joyce is boxing Alexander Ustinov next, and not Daniel Dubois. Explain kind of the situation there, as it were.
Well, he wanted a fight, and the fact is that he's fighting on the 13th of May. You know, we'll not give him enough time. And he said, I think he said at the last press conference himself, you know, last week, Joe, he made it very clear himself that he's in a position where he feels he wants to, you know. He's number 1 challenger for the European title. He's number 1 challenger for, I think it's a version of the WBA title. So that's what he's focused on. So that's where he's at. And as I say, let's get his fight out of the way. But we're making an announcement next week. Daniel Dubois and Nathan will be in a title fight.
Talk to me about Daniel Dubois' last performance. I think undeservedly got a bit of criticism for that performance. I thought he kind of showed his youthful exuberance, I think is a good way to describe it. What did you think of it now you've had a little bit of time to look back?
It's one of them, and you're damned if you do and if you don't. He came in with a good opponent, a guy who had a good record. He only had 1 loss, and I think it was in 15 fights, and that was it stopped for an injury during the fight. And he come to fight. He was fit as anything. I mean, he was absolutely in great nick. He looks, you know, if shape means anything in fighting, he's much better shape than Ortiz. It looks, but he was in good shape, and he come to fight. He came out as soon as that bell went. You know, he knew he was in with a youngster in Daniel. He's only 21 years of age. He's had only 7 senior bouts as a amateur, and I think that was his was it his 12th fight he went to? Yeah, I think it was his 12th fight. So, that for him was, he just tried to put him out of his stride. But, Daniel gritted his teeth, he got clipped, but he showed some good variety of punches. He's throwing nice body shots, threw some nice uppercuts, and we know he can bang. As soon as he clipped him, he took the fight out of him. For me, it was a really good learning fight for him.
Now, Billy Joe Saunders just gave me one of those things, I don't know what to call, just telling me basically to hurry up, so we'll try and skate through the rest of this. We spoke to one of our journalists very recently about Anthony Yarde. As I understand it, a date and a venue has been finalised and we're just waiting for the announcement, is that correct?
We're just waiting for the contracts to be finalised and signed. I mean, we've agreed, the terms are all agreed, we're just waiting for the contracts to be signed, and when they're signed, obviously we'll announce the exact date, but the fight is on. Anthony, there's no way he would duck out of a fight. He wants to fight, and he's willing to go into the other guy's backyard, which is, to go into Russia, take someone on, that tells you what he's all about.
How much, if at all, is the impending court case for Sergey Kovalev impacting on an announcement?
I've got no idea. That's due process, that's an American situation, and for us it is what it is. If anything happened to him, if he was stripped for being found guilty, then Anthony will fight the next available contender. But hopefully that's not the case, because he wants to fight the champion.
Tyson Fury, we've already mentioned him today, came here, got a rapturous reception from all of the fans who have assembled at the Lamex. It seems like only yesterday you were announcing his fight against Tom Schwartz, and that's coming up very soon. What did you make of Tyson? Looked in good shape in that.
He looks in magnificent condition. He's just so focused. He's got such an air about him of somebody who just wants to win back titles, wants to be the champion, and he wants to go and conquer America. That's his thing. That's what he wants to do. He wants to get out there, show him what it's all about. He's got a great platform now on ESPN, and that's what the program is, to conquer America, to be the best known heavyweight out there. He's on the biggest sports platform. And if he does that, which I do believe he will do, with his personality and the fact he's such a good fighter, the world is his lobster.
Do you mean oyster?
Oh, it is lobster, is it?
Frank Warren, always a pleasure catching up with you.
So you can never get it. It takes you so long.
I think it's me. I unnerve you. But thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Look forward to catching up with you soon.
You do. You unnerve me. Well done, mate.
Cheers, Frank.